Christianity and Science. My journey down the Christianity and Science highway began in 2012 when a church I was attending put me in a crisis of faith concerning Christianity and science. After my investigation, I resolved my crisis and decided to make this video for presentation purposes. Is there conflict between Christianity and science? Pew Research, October 2015. 59% believe often in conflict. They see conflict but are not in conflict. 30% science conflicts with their own belief. They are in conflict. Where does this perception come from? I believe mostly from the religiously unaffiliated. Those who believe there is conflict by church attendance. Church attendance is a good metric when considering the religiously affiliated and the religiously unaffiliated. At least weekly, 50%. Monthly or yearly, 54%. Seldom or never, 73%. Unaffiliated, 76%. The religiously unaffiliated is the fastest growing group in the U.S., called the nuns. There is a clear line separating these groups, a line of demarcation. Science is one of the many influences that separates these groups. From an article posted on the Huffington Post, December 2017, a friend cautioned me that if I went ahead and posted our MIT survey on science, religion, and origins, I'd get inundated with hate mail from religious fundamentalists. The vitriolic responses poured in as predicted. Most of them didn't come from religious people, but from angry atheists. Atheists are members of the nuns. This agrees with the line of demarcation. Pew Research, February 2021. 56% of Americans say there generally is conflict, but this sense is more common among the religiously unaffiliated, the nuns. This agrees with the line of demarcation. 16% of Christians say their beliefs often conflicts with science. 30% of Christians say their beliefs sometimes conflicts. Lifeway, 2022. Modern science disproves the Bible. 40% agree, 48% disagree. Americans who attend a religious service at least once or twice a month are more likely to disagree than those who do not. 60% versus 39%. This agrees with the line of demarcation. What do young people think? This is from the Barna Group, 2018. Science refutes too much of the Bible, 20%. Struggles to reconcile science with the Bible, 24% side with science. 31% science and the Bible are different aspects of reality. 28% science and the Bible can support each other. 17% side with the Bible. The church seems to reject what science tells us about the world, 49%. I have also read appears to be antagonistic. When you read something like seems to reject or appears to be antagonistic and consider the line of demarcation, the logical conclusion is Christianity has a perception problem. What is science? The way science is performed, I call the scientific enterprise. There appears to be no standard in defining the scientific enterprise. I use the definition that is provided by the National Academy of Science. The use of evidence to construct testable explanations and predictions of natural phenomena, as well as knowledge generated through this process. Natural stuff, not supernatural stuff. The word science is relatively new, about 200 years. It comes from the Latin word scientia, which means knowledge. Prior to this, science was called natural philosophy. A scientific hypothesis is something that might be true, partially true, or false, and the scientific highway is littered with the bones of dead hypotheses and also theories. Evidence that is repeatable and independently verifiable for natural phenomena. Repeatability is a fundamental criterion for the scientific enterprise. The scientific enterprise does not tell you how to use or interpret scientific evidence. You can use scientific knowledge to develop uses and interpretations. Science is a high level of agreement or consensus. Mathematics, the language of science, has a high level of clarity. Clarity is a fundamental criterion for the scientific enterprise. Scientists and everyone else are preloaded with their opinions, biases, and beliefs. There are times when this gets in the way. You cannot take the human element out of the scientific enterprise, but the scientific enterprise has a way of self-correcting. Is the scientific enterprise an agnostic enterprise? The existence of God and the supernatural are unknown and unknowable by way of any scientific method. God and the supernatural are not scientifically testable. Atheist scientists take a position of science plus naturalism. God does not exist. I don't know of any Christian scientist who takes that position. For young earth creationists, historical science is a theistic enterprise. Is the scientific enterprise an agnostic, atheistic, or theistic enterprise? Your answer depends on your preloaded conditioning. Science doesn't pick a side. You do, based on your dogmatic position. Science doesn't care what you believe. You do, based on your dogmatic position. You want to be a good scientist? Then maintain neutrality, provided you can get past your dogmatic position. Are there limitations to science? Yes. Science cannot detect a purpose. Science can be used to express a purpose or no purpose. Science cannot make moral, ethical, or value judgments. What's good? What's evil? What's right? What's wrong? Science can be used to make moral, ethical, and value decisions. Science cannot make aesthetic judgments. What's beautiful? What's ugly? What's a good song? What's a bad song? The presuppositions of science are philosophical and cannot be proven. Examples: the external world is real. The laws of logic and mathematics exist. Justifying my Christian worldview using science-based reasoning. First, I will explain Christian faith as defined by Hebrews 11:1. Faith in the substance of things hoped for. Faith in the evidence of things not seen. For the first clause, the things hoped for are God's promises. The second clause does not mean there is no evidence. It is the things that are not seen. What are the things not seen? The resurrection and eyewitness testimonies. What is the evidence you have faith in? Historical New Testament documents in Greek. What is scientific faith? Scientific faith in the substance of things hoped for. Scientific faith in the evidence of things not seen and are seen because you don't have proof as 100% absolute certainty. In the first clause, the things hoped for are future scientific discoveries, possibilities, and progress. Referring to the second clause, scientists have faith in the scientific enterprise, the presuppositions of science, empirical generalizations in which Newton's laws, quantum physics, and the theory of evolution are three examples. They also have faith in themselves. The last part of the second clause means absolute scientific proof is a myth. God and the supernatural are not scientifically testable. There isn't any empirical scientific evidence to arbitrate between the null and alternative hypotheses. What is the scientific evidence for the historical resurrection of Christ? There isn't any. It's an historical event. It's not repeatable. You must use historical methods of inquiry. You want scientific evidence? Travel back in time and make your observations. Find the body so that you can use forensic and archaeological methods of inquiry. There is a very low probability that Christ was risen from the dead. My response, exactly. What are miracles? David Hume believed that miracles violated the natural laws. Consider this. Virgin births are scientifically possible today and are believed to occur many times. 2,000 years ago, there was a recorded virgin birth. Today, doctors can cure leprosy. 2,000 years ago, there were recorded cases of curing leprosy. Those miracles may not have violated the natural laws. I believe miracles could be God acting in a natural way, and each individual miracle is neither predictable nor repeatable. Faith is trusting in what you have good reason to believe is true. Reason is based on proof as truth. Proof as truth is arguments and or evidence for the truth of a proposition, which can be true, partially true, or false. Faith is belief in something for which there is no proof. This proof is proof as 100% absolute certainty. What are the reasons and evidence that justifies your belief that your Christian worldview is true, knowing that it could be false? Do you have supporting reasons and evidence? I have science-based reasons. I don't have empirical scientific evidence. No one has. Message of faith. Scientific and biblical knowledge can be hot-button issues between some Christians. The issues mostly concern Genesis, creation, Garden of Eden and the fall, the global flood, in some cases, the Tower of Babel. What are the main conflict points? To sum it up in one word, it would be origins. How did the whole shebang get here? Was it religious or scientific in origin? Creationism or evolution? Young or old earth and universe? I believe God created the whole shebang somehow. You determine the somehow. Is the Genesis creation story literal or ancient Near East science? The Babylonians and Egyptians had similar creation stories. The gods caused everything. That is, cause and effect. Therefore, ancient Near East science. In either case, literal or ancient Near East science, there is a message of faith in the Genesis creation story. What can Christians agree on concerning Genesis, a message of faith? God created the universe and life. The world is a very good creation. Men and women are the only creatures made in the image of God. Dominion, take care of the earth. Every person has fallen into sin. God judges humans for their sinful acts. General types of Christian worldviews concerning creation and human origins. 35,000 Americans in all 50 states. This is a very big survey with lots of information. This survey also includes the nuns. Topic from survey, Christian views about human evolution. Young earth creation. 41% of adults say humans have always existed in their present form. This also includes old earth creation. If you want more information, go to website Answers in Genesis. Ken Ham is a leading proponent of young earth creation. Website Institute for Creation Research, Richard Bless and Randy Gay-Luzia. Old earth creation, sometimes called progressive creation. Website Reasons to Believe, Hugh Ross. Evolutionary creation, sometimes called theistic evolution. 22% of adults say humans evolved due to natural processes. Website BioLogos, Deborah Harsma. Intelligent design. 29% of adults say humans evolved due to design. Website Discovery Institute, Stephen Meyer. The next 4 slides will cover each of these categories, starting with young earth creationism. Each bullet point should be discussed in more detail. I will not be doing that in this video. Young earth creation. Earth and universe are young, 6,000 to 10,000 years old. The appearance of age interpretation. Genesis creation, Garden of Eden, and global flood were actual historical events. Adam and Eve are the first humans. Flood geology, geological strata due to global flood. Rejects the fossil record shows a pattern of change over time. Rejects common ancestry. Rejects the theory of evolution. Old earth creation. Earth and universe are old. Genesis creation, Garden of Eden, were actual historical events. Days of Genesis are long periods of time. Adam and Eve are the first humans. Geological record as a natural process. Rejects global flood geology. The flood was local, not global. Fossil record created during these long time periods. Rejects common ancestry. Rejects the theory of evolution. Evolutionary creation. Earth and universe are old. Genesis creation, Garden of Eden, and global flood are messages of faith, not literal. Adam and Eve have an unknown interpretation. Geological record as a natural process. Accepts the fossil record shows a pattern of change over time. Accepts common ancestry. Accepts the theory of evolution as a scientific model or theory. Intelligent design. Age of Earth and universe are not a concern. Genesis creation, Garden of Eden, and global flood are messages of faith. Adam and Eve were designed. Geological record as a natural process. Accepts the fossil record shows a pattern of change over time. Some accept, some reject common ancestry. Rejects the theory of evolution as a complete model of biological history, saying that while some evolution did happen, God must have miraculously guided or intervened at various points. Christianity and science is one of the many contemporary issues facing Christianity today.